vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. Here's your flash briefing for the week of January 8th. City Council will meet for regular session Tuesday night at 6 in Council Chambers in City Hall. If you can't watch, quickly catch up on the City Council meetings by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter. It breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. Stay weather aware this weekly summit. Do so by signing up for the city's free alert system, LS Aware. Receive emergency and non-emergency information by text, email, or phone, such as snow updates and road closures. You choose how you want to be notified. Learn how to sign up on the city's website. The city is hiring. Join our team at the City of Lee Summit. The city offers rewarding career opportunities, a positive environment, and fantastic benefits. View these opportunities at lspeople.net. And stay connected with the city. We have several email newsletters to keep you informed about everything going on in Lee Summit. The Council Debrief recaps City Council meetings. The City Portal has the latest news and information about the city. And the Flyover is your one-stop shop for airport news. You can subscribe to all of these on the city's website. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Welcome to the Lee Summit Sign Department. We are going to walk you through our process from start to finish. We make signs as needed here. It's not like we just go out into the field and place a speed limit sign here, no parking here. Our traffic engineers, they go through and they'll do field studies. They'll send us down an engineering work order for us to go out, place new signs or remove signs as needed. Coming from the material, our blanks come in and they're just aluminum blanks. We can put our white, our red, our fluorescent yellow, green, whatever. And basically what it looks like is just that there. Throw it up into the roller. And once we got it covered, take it to our work table here, and Tim will cut the corners, cut all the access off to where it's lined up right. As far as the plotter and the software that we use, there's a street name sign there, and he's gonna go ahead and print that out on the plotter so you can see the plotter and how it operates and runs. There's standards for the height, even just on letters on the sign blank. Basically what we have on the computer there is it's pretty much set up to those. And it goes through, it's got a very small but sharp needle that goes through and cuts everything out, letter by letter. Once that's done cutting, our next stage would be bringing it over here. Currently picking out the sign letters right now. We call it weeding or picking or however you want to call it. Next, putting it on the transfer tape. Then after it's taped, we bring it over to the roller. That's where we apply it to the actual sign blank. And we'll roll it through one time just to get the air bubbles out. And the last stage is basically just taking the transfer tape off the front of it. And there's a finished product of the street name sign. We'll take you out to the field and show you our process that we go through. We're going to go out and follow our sign guys, get something installed for you. This is where we check our underground utilities. Tim, you got AT&T?
AT&T is back here.
Evergy, Google, so we should be good to go. We normally put all of our stuff together out in the field. Then Then once the base is installed, we'll go ahead and put the post in there. These come up too. Perfect. And that's how we do it. Simple, quick.
This month's Council Member Spotlight is all about Mayor Bill Baird. Check it out.
I have always volunteered in the community and I was always really involved, but then I ran for school board. Whenever I got done with my term, I just felt like I had more to give. It's always been my goal from day one is to get everyone in the community connected and working together, and I always called it a spirit of community. Well, Mayor's 24/7 and I have a job. I've had to work really hard at compartmentalizing, is what I call it. So during this time, I'm going to do work. During this time, I'm going to be mayor, even though I can get a call at any moment about mayor stuff. And so I've had to even work that much harder at setting aside time for myself or for family. So I like to exercise, I like to work out. Hillary's my wife. She actually goes to work out with me as well. And we do like to go downtown to the shops. We make sure we maximize our time together. I mean, I've got 2 kids as well, and we spend a lot of time with them, or whatever time they will give us these days. And I have a dog. I think most people kind of know me know I have to have a dog. We have so much development going on, and we're growing fairly quickly, so we have a lot of infrastructure needs, and sometimes we have gaps in infrastructure, and we've always managed to get by, but with this kind of growth, we're really having to be creative and look at our options and just have a good plan for water, sewer, roads, and more. If we want to grow the most healthy way, we need a diverse economy. We do have a lot of retail that's opened up here, and there's been new construction for retail. We really need to focus in the future on bringing some, well-paying jobs here, good, strong employers that want to be located in this incredible community of now 101,000 people. A lot of our workforce does commute to work still, so they leave Lee Summit to go to work, and it'd be nice if we could keep some of those citizens right here in our community. The times I feel most proud are actually when I'm in the community and I see the community come together.
We have Buddy in the house. Mr. Mayor!
The tree lighting is always very fun. I always feel very proud. It's just a great warm feeling. The same thing goes for when the council will do something and we come together and make a good decision together. There's been a few of those that you go home feeling like a winner. And one of them was when we put together the downtown farmers market, when we bought the land, and it became real, all that hard work. But also the Diversity and Inclusion Commission, that was months and months of discussions and conversations that were really hard to have, and we went ahead and moved forward and as a council all together, and I was very, very proud of that. And there are a few things that the citizens have done that have really helped us tremendously. First, in the middle of a pandemic, they passed a use tax, which is a way for us to collect sales tax whenever someone purchases online. That helps shore up our revenues so that we can continue to provide as high quality services that our city provides. And it helps us take care of our employees, it helps us with our public safety and more. So I can't be more thankful to the citizens for that. Lee Summit has the opportunity to have a major impact on the economy in the Kansas City area. We already, as an economy, are rolling along with such a high median income. We have an amazing workforce here that are paying taxes, they're paying property taxes, they're paying sales taxes, they're keeping our economy rolling, and we really are getting the attention of all our neighbors. And I think that what's going to happen is you're going to see the opportunity for us to really get everybody's attention when businesses start moving here, bigger businesses and more so. You should try to find a way to give back to the community, whether it's at the city level, citizen committees, or just participating in some of our community conversations whenever we have those opportunities. it's worth coming out of your shell or taking, you know, that leap of faith and just showing up and saying, what can I do or how can I help? The more that we do this together, the more wonderful the community is.
Thanks for watching the Lee Summit Rundown. I'm Laura Ingeman. See you next time.
I call to order the Monday, January 8th, 2024 Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Roll call, please.
Councilmember DeMoro.
Here.
Councilmember Lovell.
Here.
Councilmember Pryor.
Here, but am I really echoey? Because I can hear the audio, but I had to be in here because I forgot my charger.
Yes, you're echoey, but it's not that bad.
Okay, good.
Mayor Baird.
Here. Okay, I think that was everybody. I kind of lost track. Yeah, that was everybody. Okay, we have a quorum. Next up, approval of the agenda. Looking for a motion.
Chair.
Yes.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Lovell, a second by Mayor Baird to approve the agenda. Roll call, please. Any discussion on the agenda, by the way? No discussion. Roll call, please.
Mayor Baird.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMoro.
Aye.
Councilmember Lovell.
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous. Next up, public comments. Anybody know anything about public wanting to speak to us?
I didn't.
No, I haven't heard anything.
All right, moving right along. The first item for discussion is the approval of the November 13th, 2023 Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee action letter.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the action letter as written.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Lovell, second by Mayor Baird, approving the November 13th Legislative and Intergovernmental Relations Committee action letter. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Pryor.
What did you just ask? Sorry, we're trying to figure out the echo situation.
We're approving the November 13th, 2023 action letter.
Aye.
Mayor Baird.
Aye.
Councilmember DeMoro.
Aye.
And Councilmember Lovell.
Aye.
Thank you. It is unanimous. All right, next up, discussion 2023-06046 discussion lobbyist report. Mr. Head.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you all saw the report that they provided, and I will get into just a few specifics. I read through there. We don't even have comments on a lot of the bills yet. So unless you wanted to literally go in and click on them individually in order to figure out what they were about, there's no comment yet. So we're still pretty early in this process. But my first question for you is, was the format helpful? Was it the type of information you want to see? Because the Zach Pollock and Mr. Hensley they're more than willing to kind of do it however we want. We just need to tell them. I personally kind of found this format to be pretty enlightening. They gave some pretty good information. It's helpful also having sort of the House and Senate leadership all listed in one spot. And then I don't mind the idea that we're going to click on a link in order to get to the meat and potatoes of the report. But if that is something that you would prefer to have that report physically attached, we can do that. I would just like to solicit some feedback on sort of the format of the report before we move on to a few specifics. I just have a few things that I want to highlight for you.
Okay, well, I'll open it up for discussion and see what people think. Anyone? I for one like the format. I found it very informative, especially the narrative. Anybody want to chime in, Mayor Baird?
I was just going to pull it up. Who's it come from, Brian?
It would have come from me, but Zach Polluck, Polluck, is the guy's name, but I forwarded it to you from him.
Okay. I read through it and I liked it. It was more detailed than we usually get. I think that it'll be interesting to see how he does the comments, how he starts commenting when it comes to the ones that we need to zero in on. So, like one of the discussions we'll have today is the landfill, like the landfill bills that are filed. So I'm looking forward to that.
And like I said, I really like the narrative too. I actually ran into Representative Strickler on Saturday and he started to tell me, and I said, yeah, I got a gist of it because I told him where I'd already read the narrative about the caucus and everything.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's really good.
Good. Councilmember Pryor, did you have a opportunity to read through the lobbyist report? May have lost her. I don't know. Okay, Brian, did you have some points that you were going to bring up?
Just a couple. I mean, there is probably going to be some sort of a solid waste bill that comes out this year that would include our issue on the landfill. House Bill 1438 is one of them. Changes the distance from a half mile to a mile, like we were, going for last year. Also changes the amount of time that we have in which to conduct a hearing. Changes it from 15 to 30 days. But there are a number of bills that all kind of do the same thing. There's also a House bill that has nothing to do with us, and it deals with solid waste over on the St. Louis side. And my guess is if one of these starts moving, we're going to have a bigger solid waste bill where these things get looped together because they are same general subject. So it's likely that we're going to start seeing that. We're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but there are several different bills that go down the path of trying to deal with this solid waste issue. I would also point out, because the tax assessment issue has been, very much a hot button. There is House Joint Resolution 68, which would seek to put a measure in front of the voters to amend the Constitution to require that the Jackson County assessor be elected as opposed to appointed. According to what is recited in that bill, all other assessors in the state are elected. Jackson County is the one holdout. There's also a bill. I don't think it'll go anywhere. At least I doubt it. It's called a Democrat has passed a bill in several sessions. So it probably won't go anywhere. But it does seem to be pretty thorough. It's a well thought out bill. Maybe there's some momentum behind it. There is just hitting another highlight. There is Senate Bill 919. This one for a CID that is going to impose a sales tax instead of getting an approval from the governing body, so like the city, via a simple majority. It requires a 2/3 majority of the city council to authorize formation of that CID. Similarly with TDD, if MoDOT or, the local authority would have to approve projects by a 2/3 majority as opposed to a simple majority vote. There are also a whole bunch of bills dealing with the election calendar. They realize, I think, that in about 2 years, the last day for candidate certification will be on Christmas Day. So right now, the filing starts on the 17 weeks prior to the election and closes 14 weeks prior to the election. There's Councilmember Pryor back. Pretty much all of these bills move that so that it moves it everything a week closer to the election. So candidate filing starts on the 16th Tuesday prior and ends the 13th one prior. So it's going to be should be the week between, should be just a little bit later for us, or like right after the first of the year. So first Tuesday in January is where it would have fallen this year. Those are just a few highlights. I think there's almost 100 bills in that. The vast majority of them don't even have any kind of a comment yet. And what that means is they really haven't even done a summary of them that GovWatch can pull off for us to see it. They'll start fleshing those out more. I know several of our representatives have bills related to the landfill and so on. I didn't try to go in and list all those because all of that will get consolidated at some point to be, a single bill. I did get a call from Zach Pollock today, and I haven't been able to call him back because I was in a meeting when he called. He said that there are a couple of hearings coming up next week that he wanted to talk about. They're probably the ones that are listed in the report that he gave us. I'm not sure what I did with that. But they're probably some of those. But I will call him later today and find out what those are as well. But that's all I have regarding the report at this point.
Okay. Councilmember Pryor, I think you fell off when we were talking about the report. If you had any comments about it.
Nope. I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments about the lobbyist report? Mayor Bear? Yes, sir.
Mr. Head, so a lot of times the information, it moves really fast with regard to who's going to put the bill forward, and I don't know, updates when it comes to the landfill in particular. So if you could just express to Mr. Pollock that we don't want we want to be on the same page with our sister cities that are super active. I don't want to, it's just as awkward if I'm getting information from the sister cities that were, kind of joining in on this issue. And I just want to make sure it syncs up and is accurate with what Mr. Pollock and his team is seeing and hearing and such. So we just might need more updates on that issue because, it's really tough. I mean, I get information, but I don't know quite how accurate it is or if it's from someone's perspective, and I can't.
Sure.
So
let me talk with Zach about how we can make that happen. They seem to be very flexible, and they seem to be very interested in trying to do this in a way that meets our needs. So I'm sure he has had other times when he's had issues that were really hot button that required a little more touch than some of the others that are longer term stuff. Maybe we also need to hear some of the backdoor stuff and some of the rumors, because how that is in Jeff City, and one rumor can light a fire over here that people in Jeff City don't even think it's important. But I'll talk with him. I need to call him today regarding those hearings anyway, and I will I'll raise that with him.
All right, thanks. Was it his report that also included the list of leadership?
Yes.
And so I just wanted to go back to that. So John, Representative Patterson is not the Speaker of the House. He's actually the floor leader. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then how does that change? Like, what's his responsibilities as a floor leader compared to the Speaker? Does he control when the bills come? The Speaker controls.
Well, the leadership controls it, but the floor leader is the one who is in the day-to-day bringing bills forward and getting them scheduled and all that kind of stuff. I think the Speaker is the one who has to send them to committee. But then once they come out of committee, and this is an oversimplification, I'm sure, the floor leader is the one that schedules them for when they're going to be actually heard on the floor.
Okay, so we think that with Representative Patterson in that position, we probably can get it on the floor sooner than later. based on conversations and discussions with him. And then on the Senate side, which is, we already got it passed in the House last year, so I don't expect the issues on the House side. But on the Senate side, Senator Sirpoy believes he can get it to the floor. Do you know?
I haven't heard that anywhere, and he's not in leadership, but and I don't know where he stands right now, whether he's in or out with the powers that be in the party in the Senate right now. But he's certainly been there long enough that he knows how it works, and if anybody ought to have any pull to get something put on the floor, get it to the floor, he should be able to.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, we can find out more. Mr. Pollock can help with that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Any other discussion on the lobbyist report? Okay, we'll move on to resolution number 24-02, a resolution expressing the opposition of the council of the city of Lee Summit, Missouri, to the location of a landfill or any or other facility involved in solid waste hauling near the city border. Brian?
Last week, city manager had been hearing from a number of our compatriots in local cities who are impacted by the landfill and the school district as well, who are all working on various types of resolutions to show their opposition to the landfill effort that was going on. So we put together our own resolution. One significant difference between our resolution and some of the others that are out there, some of those others actually list support for individual bills. But given the way Jefferson City works, where, the topic could get thrown into a bill at some point, that we want to be able to say it's our issue, not so much necessarily any specific bill, it seems to me. So we didn't do that. We did actually, this is very similar to the one we had last year. The only difference that we have here is that we started hearing rumbling about maybe instead of having a full-on landfill, maybe it would just become a solid waste processing facility. So we wanted to include, a more broad catch-all term. So we did include the term other facility involving solid waste hauling. So we say that we're opposed to the location of a landfill or other facility involved in solid waste hauling near the border of the city, and supports legislation to give the city of Lee Summit and other impacted governmental entities significant input to the siting of such a landfill or other facility involving solid waste hauling. So we're just saying we're opposed to doing it, and we definitely want to have a say in it if it is going to happen. In that resolution. So it's similar to what we had last year, but it just refreshes for this current legislative session.
So just to clarify, you had heard some rumblings of a transfer station rather than a landfill, correct?
Of some kind. It was not specific. There was some kind of a rumor floating around. And so we thought, well, instead of just saying landfill, we don't want somebody to kind of say, well, you didn't say this other thing, you just said landfill. So we decided to broaden the topic. It may have not even been real. It's hard to know. But because there was this rumor that was floated out there, we thought, it's probably a good idea just to broaden this out and make it more general.
Yeah. That's a good move, yeah. Any other comments from mayor, council about the resolution?
I'm supportive of it, so that we can. We did change some of the wording, which I was glad that legal counsel caught that, but it puts us in alignment with the school district, with Raymore, I'm sure Grandview. Do you know, Mr. Head, Grandview, have they done one yet?
I don't know for sure. I'm sure I could find out pretty easy.
Okay. There is, this is more hearsay because I heard it from and Representative Strickler was not passing hearsay information or rumors, but he said that Representative Lutemeyer, U.S. Representative Lutemeyer, he announced his retirement, so to speak. He's not going to seek another term, and I heard that and I cannot remember the lady senator from the St. Louis area has expressed interest in that seat. And she doesn't live in that district, but as we know, you don't have to live in the district that you want to serve in the U.S. Congress. So he thought that she wouldn't be as aggressive in her propensity for opposing our action at the Missouri legislature. So that in itself, if that rings true, if that comes to truth, then that's going to help us, I think. Just thought I'd pass that along. Like I said, I've not heard from her at all. It was just somebody heard her say that. So maybe a plus for us. Any other comments?
Regarding the landfill issue, and I was trying to find the email that had it in there, but so apparently there is a full court sort of advertising press by the landfill proponents. They have some ads that are running locally, at least on internet sites, different sites that we ran across. So there is an effort to try to promote this to the city of Kansas City, and I'll find that link. I can't seem to find the email I'm looking for, and I'll forward it out to you so you can all see what it is. You can't actually go there from a City Hall computer because the website is too new, and so it's blocked as being suspicious. But if you're home, you can see it, or if you were using your phone, you can see it. But that is out there. So the issue, is once again going to start picking up steam.
And just to remind us, the moratorium that Kansas City imposed last year, it does expire on May 1st or June 1st, right? Through the month of May.
My recollection is that it was a year. I don't remember when it was passed, but my recollection is that it was a year.
Okay.
So the website is kcsouthhillsproject.com.
All right. Anybody have anything else to add?
Have they retained any more lobbyists like they had last year?
I'm confident that they have, although I don't have any information about that right now, but I can add that to the list to ask our lobbyist about.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, that would lead us into roundtable. Any roundtable discussion? Mayor Baird.
I was just going to remind everyone that the MML is on February 20th. That's Tuesday. And Wednesday, I think we usually do the trips to the representatives and senators' offices on the second. Isn't that correct? So just want to remind you all of that. That's coming right up.
Yeah.
What date did you say you cut out on that?
February 20th and 21st. And I believe I think Wednesday is the day that the 21st is the day that we go and do the site visits to the representatives and senators. Last year, I believe Yeah, I stayed the night, but Councilmember DeMoro drove up, and a couple others drove up.
That is correct. Yeah.
They just drove up for the site visits, which is totally fine. The more we can get there, I think it's nice numbers.
We just meet up and go in as a group.
Yep.
So it works out fine. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, before we move on from that resolution, could we have a motion and a vote?
Oh, yeah.
To recommend approval to the city council or
Yeah,
recommend
absolutely. Sorry about that. Yeah. I wasn't thinking. All right. I'll open it up for a motion for resolution. Yes. Councilmember.
Yep. I make a motion that
Mayor. I'm sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution number 24-02 to put in front of city council for approval.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mayor Baird, a second by Councilmember Pryor, moving the resolution 24-02 to the full council with a recommendation of approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember DeMoro,
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor,
Aye.
Councilmember Lovell,
Aye.
and Mayor Baird.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That's a unanimous
And
vote.
this is actually already on your agenda for tomorrow night. If for some reason you all had wanted more time to reword it or something, we would have pulled it off. But it was already on there, understanding that this is timely, and many of our other sister cities around here have already pulled the trigger on this.
Yeah, no, it's a good move. Yeah, glad we're taking care of it. All right, any other roundtable?
I do have an item for you. I'm going to be sending you for consideration. We will add this to the February agenda if you feel like it's appropriate. There is a Chris Busson through Michael Park has forwarded to us some information. Apparently, this is a fairly common annual push to try to bring forward a paint recycling program at the state level, and there's quite a lot of information here that I will send forward to you all, and we can put it on the agenda for February and see after you've had some time to review it, and then if it's something you all are interested in, I can give that direction also to our lobbyists. But it isn't anything that there's a huge hurry on, but it is something that I wanted to bring in front of you before we passed on to our lobbyist.
So this would be a state enacted statute that, or not a statute, but just something to where paint recycling would be required if you have a landfill or a processing facility.
Well, I'm not sure if it would just allow. I think it would just allow you to have these types of services. Right now, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 counties in the state that have an oil-based and latex-based paint recycling program. There are at least, it looks like 20 or so that have no recycling program, and then all the rest have some limited service. And this would allow for it says, by passing paint steward legislation, Missouri could gain financial benefits of more than $12 million annually on the collection and management of leftover paint. I haven't dug into it to fully understand how it would be funded, but before we have the conversation on it next time, I will have done so. It just came up to me from Michael Park and Chris Busson late last week.
Okay, yeah. And just for the record, our operator does recycle paint at his facility.
We're one of the ones that does, and there's only a handful.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes.
Council or Mayor Baird.
Just wanted to let y'all know that it took a while, almost a year, but we were able to finally set a meeting with, we had been trying to get in front of Congressman Graves. Even though he doesn't represent our district, he is the chair of the infrastructure or transportation committee. And we did finally get a meeting with him with his legislative assistant, Wyatt Mullendore. This was on December 12th, the Wednesday, and talked to him about 470, how 70 highway is being upgraded, expanded, and that we have a tremendous amount of growth going on the 470 corridor going up to 70 highway, and we needed help, and whatever that help looked like. And he seemed to, he was great, listened to us. He said that it would probably take state and federal funds to do something like that for them to get something like that done. But we finally got that meeting, and Mark Dunning has been corresponding with Wyatt and their office to try to keep that on the table. So it was a big ask. It was way too big of way too big of an ask for the state. But we all know how important that north side of our community is, and how congested it already is, and how congested it's going to become. And we need to address it. So that we got the foot in the door at we went to the state last year and talked to everybody about it. So they have knowledge of it. We need to remind them of it this year, keep talking about it as we go forward. But then now we've got the foot in the door at the federal level. And so we were pretty pleased that we finally got that meeting, even though it wasn't directly with Congressman Graves. So it went well.
That's great. That's a very positive move.
Yeah,
because it just seems like 470 just keeps getting worse and worse. I avoid it as much as I can and go up Todd George, but sometimes you can't.
When they got the meeting, he got the meeting. He said, "Hey, this is the one time you told me to never schedule meetings." I was like, "I don't care. Take the meeting." So we took the meeting.
Yeah. Was it, did Wyatt come to Lee Summit, or did you guys have to go up north?
On Wednesday morning at City Hall.
At City Hall. Okay.
I'm like, no Wednesday morning meetings.
Yeah. Because I think their nearest
Never know
office is
how late you guys are going to keep me on Tuesday nights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, it was for a good cause. Good cause.
Absolutely.
Took one for the team. Yeah. Okay. Any other roundtable? Anyone else?
I would just remind that the next meeting is scheduled for February 12th.
Okay. February 12th at 11:30. All right. Well, if no one else has anything else, I'll adjourn this meeting at 12:11. Thank you all for attending. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.